Equally yoked, unequally yoked. What does that mean? Hey y'all, hello. Welcome to Help Me Out. Come on in here with your girl Shema Ladd, personal development and premarital life coach. Here where we discuss an array of topics from a biblical and spiritual perspective. First natural, then spiritual. You know your girl. Okay, equally yoked. Okay, this video may not be exactly what you may be thinking, but I'm gonna break down some concepts for you. Okay, so um, since I've been dealing a lot with demonic spirits, witchcraft, speaking a lot on those things, and you guys know I'm headed to Africa to um, expound on my spiritual training and my religious training, just on some things. So as I'm taking in more information and knowledge and all of these things, I'm gonna bring it to y'all. So this on Equally Yoked, normally I've done videos in the past on this, and you can go look through them. But we've went over topics of being unequally yoked, such as different religions. Okay, you're a Christian and you're a Hindu. You're a Muslim and you're a Satanist. I don't know, whatever you are. We've also I've also spoken about being unequally yoked in depths of belief. Maybe a Christian believer being placed with an advanced believer and the issues that could bring about. Okay. Or, maybe you're from a different country and you're marrying someone from a whole nother country. Well, you're having issues because of, just cultural traditions or norms that aren't being respected or that aren't being acknowledged. Different things like that, but I want to touch on, I'm going to tell you my story because I'm in the aftermath of it now. And I've had to look back and see if there's anything I would have done different, anything that, So this one is a witchcraft type family marrying into a Christian family. Okay. So for me, and you've heard my story on, my father passing and his widow being into witchcraft and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so I was thinking about being yoked and the things that my father went through in the end, towards the end, and the things that I knew of, you know, um, and how it all played out in the end, you know. And so when my biological parents got divorced, you know, dad met the widow or whatever. But I remember when I was about this is before my parents got divorced. Let me go back. Before my parents got divorced, my cousin, I call him my uncle because he's so much older than me, but he's really my cousin. But my uncle had married this woman. Now my uncle was from the streets. He was out there, having fights. He was in the streets. But he got with this woman who helped him get cleaned up because he was on drugs. He was doing the most. So he met this woman who helped him clean up his life and everything. And so him and this woman moved into my grandmother's house, right? They moved into my grandmother's house and the woman was cool. She was sickly though, sick all the time. But she was there for my uncle, so uncle wasn't tripping. She taking care of him, helping him get on his feet, so he gonna be with her, Ooh. So I would hear through the years about her family practicing witchcraft. And they would be talking about her auntie and some of her cousins, how they would do witchcraft stuff, how they would practice, I guess, doing rituals or seances or, doing things over people, right? And I'm listening to this in my grandmama's house. Now, if you read my book or know my story, and my book is actually dedicated to my grandmother, and you'll read that in the first page, the dedication to my grandmother, who was a general in the kingdom of God. This is a woman who is well known across Las Vegas, Nevada, especially the west side of Las Vegas, the north side of Las Vegas, and she would pick children up from all around the neighborhoods and bring them to the church, and other churches grew out of her ministry that are still running till this day in Las Vegas, Nevada, till this day. And this is what, November 17th, 2025, till this day. There's multiple ministries that came out of my grandmother in Las Vegas till this day. Okay. And so we're in my grandmother's house, a place where she took in people who didn't have no place to stay. She took in people who didn't have food. If you hungry, come here and get you some food. She took care of people. So I'm sitting in my grandmother's house, listening to my uncle, cousin, wife, and family members talking about witchcraft. They are literally sitting in my grandmother's living room, and my grandmama in the back on the couch praying. She ain't praying about all this. But I'm a child at this time. I'm probably like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Somewhere up in there, 13, 12, 11, 12, 10. Somewhere up in there. I'm going to say 10, 11, 12. Somewhere up in there. 10, 11, 12. 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12. Somewhere up in there. 9, 10, 11, 12. Somewhere up in there. And I'm a child. And I'm not, I stay out of grown folks' conversation, but I'm listening. And while I'm listening, I'm thinking, do grandmama know? That's how that crossed my mind. Do grandmama know? Was grandmama gonna let them get married? Is grandmama gonna let her move in here? Is grandmama gonna let them people come visit the house? These are the questions running through my mind as I'm listening to them talk about the witchcraft that runs in their family. And I'm watching my uncle, cousin, wife on the couch, sickly sick. Multiple surgeries. Sickness run through their family. Now, I wasn't spiritually advanced at that time. All I know is what I saw and what I heard. I knew they was into witchcraft. I knew that my family was not into witchcraft. I knew that it wasn't right or something was wrong with it. Okay? Whatever's going on, right? So now, fast forward, my parents going through something, This woman come out. The day I met this woman, the same one I told you was sitting, when she met us, was sitting at the table crying. And I don't even know this strange lady. Why she just sitting there crying? Because she was putting a wedge trying to break up my daddy and my mama. She was already in the midst trying to tear it apart. Well, this widow is the aunt of uncle, cousin, wife. Right? This widow is the aunt of my uncle, cousin, wife. Whole family, witchcraft family. Okay? But I'm just a kid. Right? I'm just a kid. So, some of their family members started passing off. And it's a large amount of them sick. And when I say sickly, I don't mean sick. I mean sick as in having bone breakdowns, joint bone problems, blood diseases, blood problems, blood disorders, brain, skin, sick issues. Okay. So this person, and I like my uncle cousin's wife. I got love for her. And I'm not going to say she specifically was practicing witchcraft. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying the whole entire family practiced witchcraft. That's not what I'm saying. But a good amount of them did. A good amount of them did. I can tell you, when you speak the name of my family in Las Vegas, the Ladd family, if you say Ladd family, you're going to hear good reputation. The first thing that comes to anybody's head is Christian woman, is Christian family, is God-fearing family. Anytime you say the Ladd name in Las Vegas, Nevada, the first thought that comes to people's mind is Christian family, educated money. Christian family, educated money. But when you say the name of cousin brother family, which is the same one my dad ended up marrying, that's not the first thing that come to your mind. Christian, educated money, that's not what comes to your mind at all. Not at all, period. They're not even connected. Right? So when it came to the end, as growing up, I had never literally physically seen them practicing witchcraft. I had not been a part of any of their rituals. I had not been a part of anything like that. Okay. I just heard how they would discuss it and talk about it. Right. So now that and I'm saying demon, Black Widow demon, has married into my family, slithered his way to finish off that division between my mother and father so it could have my access to my family's social status, good name, and wealth, right? So as my father passed at the end, now I'm hearing and seeing what she's doing. Now she's practicing witchcraft, full blown, trying to get it in. So when I verbalize and say what this person is doing, family and friends don't hear it. They don't believe nothing I'm saying. Even though you would think they would remember or they would know the history of this particular family. But they don't. They go against their own known family of being Christians, of being upright, of being a certain way, against a family who has no reputation even close to it. So as I'm saying unequally yoked, because my father, maybe my grandmother pushed religion too hard, but my father went away from it. He didn't want no parts of it. And it was only, I believe my father only prayed if I asked him. I would say, Daddy, you pray today? Did you pray for me, Daddy? I need prayer, Daddy. You know, that was my way of getting my daddy to pray. You know, Daddy, get to know God. But my dad was a fearless man, but he made a choice to marry a woman. You know, he wasn't really big on religion, so he didn't really pay attention to it. He didn't think anything serious of it until the end came and she started chanting and doing things that he knew it was not normal. He knew that stuff wasn't normal, you know, but he disregarded those types of things until the end when he saw what was really taking place. And he didn't like it. He didn't like it, you know, but he was not a man of God. He was not knowledgeable when it came to dealing with evil spirits, demonic spirits. He wasn't a spiritual person. And that, as a parent, as you being a covering over children, that brings hindrances. And I have to do a whole nother video on that. How a parent who is not spiritual and is not properly covering their children and their family, what kind of impacts that causes. And if you guys really want me to do that video, please write a comment below. Because again, I paid attention to all of that. I've been studying this stuff, y'all. If you want me to do a video on that, how a parent who is not godly, a parent who does not walk in Christ, who is not a good covering, how does that leave your children and your family open, and what kind of issues does that bring? Okay, I could give you examples of that. I gave a testimony of that in 2005 at my church in Texas. I gave a testimony on some of that. And when I tell you it shifted the entire atmosphere, I had people coming up to me with questions, but that was when I gave that testimony in 2005, and some other family curses that have been in my family, all because of my father, and I was the only one with the spiritual eyes, and I had to go in the spirit and battle some of that stuff. I had to go in the spirit and I had to get with God on that stuff. Like, Lord, look, how long this gonna be? Okay. And so, being unequally yoked, just because you are not a Christian or you're not spiritual, does not mean that when you get married that you won't marry somebody and you are not equally yoked with that person. You are not. So I don't want to make this a spiritual thing, because it does not have to be spiritual to be unequally yoked. That's why you have so many divorces now, so many people separating and splitting. Okay, people think spirituality is not, or religion is not an important thing, but it is dire. It is crucial. It is very important. It's important to your soul, your spirit, your growth, your maturity. Okay, and so if you have an uncle or a brother or a sister, whoever, who is considering marrying a person whose family is known to have practiced and been involved in witchcraft, whose family is known for such actions, whose family is known for having illnesses and sicknesses running through their family, I would strongly encourage you to tell them to take a second thought about that. Because that will impact, and it could inject, family curses into your bloodline and into your family. Be careful who you connect yourself with. And I believe it is only because I went so deep into spiritual matters that I was able to see her, stop her, and step in the middle of her and her demonic activities. So watch those devils. Watch those demons. Watch the behaviors. And, we're in a time now where demons and people that practice witchcraft and perversion, they try to market it and sell it like it's all good. We only do nice things. Well, is everybody only doing nice things, or is somebody lying? Hopefully you got common sense to give the right answer. But I'm going to give it to you. Somebody lying. They're just doing good things. If they were only doing good things, then why didn't they join and connect to the church to do good things? Because they have a certain different type of practice and they're not doing good things. They're doing things they don't want you to know they're doing. Hello? Hello? Okay? So you guys wake up and grow up on that part. We got to mature on that part. You have to know how to recognize what you're looking at in the spirit. Okay? So Black widow, witchcraft practicing family, whatever, came up against a real godly family. Someone who stood 10 toes down, who knew exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to get it done. And did not care about the family members who are blind, who can't see, who don't know what they're looking at, don't know what they're doing. Unequally yoked. Okay? Y'all better know. And so, even dealing with my father, when you walk in spirituality and you're walking with God, Like I said, I hadn't physically been there in childhood watching her family do these things. I would just listen to them talk about it, and then watch how the decline was happening. Um, and then at the end, and you listen to some of my videos, and you'll hear me talk about the things that I've heard in the spirit, whether it was through heaven's gates or through hell's gates, the things that I've heard in the spirit, right? So, in the end, after I won this battle, this spiritual battle, and I broke a generational curse in my family, and the devil was mad, right? And the black widow of my father was even more mad because she couldn't believe that God was real and that people actually do hear in the spirit, that God actually speaks, and that God will actually reveal what you did in a dark place, in a secret place. She couldn't accept it, that God would actually reveal what she was doing. Why would he not? You ain't even on his team. You think that God ain't going to tell his people what the devil doing? Right? So God will allow you to hear things. If you're a spiritual person, God will allow you to hear what the enemy said so you can dismantle it. He will allow you to see what the devil did so you can block it and dismantle it and break it. Right? So I'm putting this out there, one to tell the truth, one to be authentic, one to destroy the devil, one to break more curses, and one to make myself feel better. Okay? But after I won that spiritual battle, the Lord gave me a dream. And I had no plan on meeting the black widow in a dream. And the Lord let me hear what she was saying after the battle was won. And all I heard her saying was, it's not fair. It's not fair. And I got mad. And the Lord know me now. I get mad and the Lord will tell me, the Lord know what it mean when I get mad. He gonna tell me to calm down, or he gonna show me a different, and he gonna work with me. He gonna work with me. I did got mad. Mad, what ain't fair? And what ain't fair? Because I'm thinking in my mind, whatever my parents leave for me and they children, whatever my parents leave for their children and their grandchildren ain't nobody's MF business. I don't care about fair. What I care about is what my parents want for their children and their grandchildren, and I'm not going to let nobody take what's mine or my children's. So the Lord had to calm me down. Shema, pay attention. Okay, I'm like, okay, she think it ain't fair. Let me finish. Okay, go ahead, Lord. Some people think it's not fair that you blessed. Some people think it's not fair that you didn't have to work as hard as they had to get what your parents wanted for you or what you want for your children. Some people think that you shouldn't give your children what you want to give your kids. Some people think that they want to take a little bit because you don't know what you're doing with your own kids. Hello. It ain't fair. It ain't fair. Some people gave up their soul thinking that they was going to get something from your family and from you. And when they didn't get it, after selling their soul, they felt it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair that they had to sell their soul. It wasn't fair that they had to give up decades of their life chasing after money, chasing after fame, chasing after a social status, chasing after whatever it is, they clothes, assets, giving up their dream to pick up somebody else's dream. And then when they don't get what they thought they was due, it ain't fair. Now they want to steal from you. Now they want to lie about you, lie on you. Now they want to taint your image and try to put you under their shoe. And they, I love you, ain't nothing but a kiss from Judas. Hello. Being unequally yoked, angels with devils, angels with demons. Understand, the angels will try to do right, but your demon partner, that whatever the demon, they here to steal, kill, and destroy. Whatever it takes to get what they think is fair enough for them, they here to steal, kill, and destroy. So again, if you have an uncle, cousin, brother, sister, whatever, and they dabbling and think it's funny that they getting married or attaching themselves to a family that's known to have actively practiced witchcraft, or they're getting involved with a family that is actively known to have been into incest, or whatever the wicked perversion, twisted mindset stuff that people be walking around with, give them a fair warning. And warn yourself. Go back and listen to my daddy daughter series, and you'll hear the things and the experiences that I went through dealing with a demon in my family, and also having blind family, spiritually blind. So that's what I got to say on that, y'all. Click like, share, subscribe, and go to my website, futuremepro.com. Purchase my book, What Future Me Told Past Me. It is in Spanish and English. You can find it on my website, or it's also on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, BAM, Target, all those good places online. So until next time, I love you guys, and be careful who you choose.